So I came across a story recently. He was reading a book by a guy called Bob Goff. He writes this book called Everybody Always. And I think this quote from Bob is going to help all of us understand what that mindset is. This is what he says. I think Jesus meant something different when he said enemies. He meant we should love the people we don't understand. The ones we disagree with, the ones who are flat wrong about more than a couple of things. I have plenty of these people in my life, and my bet is you do too. Let's start with the logical beginning, which is, what is judgmentalism? I mean, judgmentalism at its simplest is simply, we are assigning ultimate value or worth to another human being based on a subjective experience of their life. So why are we judging others? It's because we're insecure. We judge others because we don't know who we are or why we're here. And he grants us a vision that extends from now until all eternity. And so now when I'm dealing with another human being, I'm not dealing with somebody that frustrates me. I'm dealing with somebody who has been built for eternity. I just want to ask you a very telling question. How do you treat people that frustrate, annoy, or maybe make you feel a little bit angry? What do you do when people disappoint you? Do you move towards these people, or do you move away from them? Do you love these people for who they could be, or are you frustrated by who they are in a moment? Some of you are like, no, I'm great, I'm loving. Let me I'll ask you a better question, okay? Do people like hanging out with you? How do you know that? Hey guys, want to grab a beer? If everyone says no every time, they don't like you. Maybe change your method. Jesus, we've got to remember this. Jesus hung out with notorious sinners, and they liked hanging out with him. The people that religious elites were scared to be associated with, Jesus spent the majority of his time with, and they loved hanging out with him. We want to look at people not based on what they look like now, but on the progress that they're making. Many Christians judge people based on how they are living versus how they were living. Right? Our purpose in life is not to see people aligned to a moral framework or even a political viewpoint or even a movement identity. Our role and our purpose is to love people in such a way that they would see themselves as loved sons and daughters of the risen King of the universe. We've simply got to be present with the people that God has put in our lives. Instead of seeing your boss as like a frustrating boss who doesn't know what they're doing, you're like, this is a human being made in the image of God who has got great potential for an eternal destiny. And they're frustrating me for sure, but am I viewing them in the large scale view of who they could be? Now, why do I tell you this, okay? Because I want to ask you a very poignant question, and that's simply this. Is your life any different to the average Australian's? What is currently different about your life compared to an average Australian? Are you living out the radical invitation to a purpose that says my role is to grant eternal dignity to a human being who may have never felt love, who may have never felt that kind of grace or that kind of compassion in their life before? And so the only way in which we can move towards somebody that has hurt us is if we have experienced the radical, life-changing love of someone moving towards us when we have wronged them. And this is why Christianity is such a beautiful narrative for all of us to be invited into. Because Jesus knew you before you knew anything about him. Every bad decision, every time I've hurt someone, every time I've lied about it, every time I've tried to cover it up, every time I've done something that I wish no one would ever find out. This is what is absolutely profound about the very narrative of Jesus, because instead of moving away from us when we wrong him, he moves towards us. He truly knows us. God knows you in a way that no human being ever could, that no system ever could, that no therapist ever could, that no spouse ever could. He sees you, he knows you, he loves you, and has pursued you in no way that is humanly comprehensible. Now, could you imagine what Mandurah would look like if we lived this out?